Good afternoon, everyone. I want to talk a bit about energy today. And I would like to start with a personal experience from when I was younger. BC Hydro, that was the name of an electric company that was written at the top of the electric bill that we got every month when I was living in Vancouver. The significance of that didn't occur to me until later when I came to Shanghai. The moment I stepped off the plane, the first thing I noticed was the smell of the air. It had this stinging feeling at the back of my throat. And then I started to notice the buildings in the distance. They looked like when you're playing Minecraft but you set your render distance too low, they're blurry, you can't see them. And it was at that point that I started to realize how important it was. The way that we make choices about how we consume energy. It was the sting and the smog that made me realize that. But back in Vancouver, electricity was generated with hydroelectricity, and back then the air quality was amazing. And when I came to Shanghai, I realized that Shanghai's electricity is generated by coal. Well, majorly by coal. And the air quality back then was horrendous. So I started to think, in my young mind, that was such a simple problem, just start using hydroelectricity. But it was that moment that made me start being interested in how we use energy. We have always been using energy, right? The first thing that we learn in biology class is called all living things take in material from their surroundings in order to grow or to provide energy. But using energy in the more conventional sense technically only started around 2 million years ago when humans discovered fire. And since then, the population has grown exponentially and the energy demand has skyrocketed. The dawn of the digital age brought about a new wave of energy demand. The proliferation of digital devices, data centers, and global communication networks required an ever-increasing supply of electricity. This demand, coupled with the ever-increasing urgency to solve climate change, accelerated the process of electrification. Electric vehicles replaced the traditional gasoline-powered vehicles. Induction stoves and heat pumps replaced the traditional ways of cooking and heating. The concept of a smart grid emerged. It leveraged digital technologies in order to better and more efficiently distribute energy. The electrification of everything spurred a frenzy around development of green energy, or the so-called green energy. While renewable resources and energies are definitely a cleaner alternative to fossil fuels, what we see is that experts are talking about the potential environmental backlashes of implementing green energy. Because if we think about it, for example, if we take solar panels, where will all the millions of solar panels that we are implementing right now go after their 20 to 30 years of designated service life? Probably 1,000 more landfills, right? So, given such circumstances, it becomes clear that simply transitioning to green energy is a very hard thing to do, and it is probably not enough to solve our current climate change issues. So we have to focus on something more, such as the increase in the efficiency of how we use our energy. Energy efficiency is often called the first fuel because it is the cheapest and most readily available way for us to lower our electric consumption and lower our greenhouse gas emissions. By designing more energy efficient appliances and industrial processes, we can significantly lower how much electricity we need instead of how much more we need to produce. For example, if we are able to lower the electric consumption efficiency, if we are able to improve the efficiency by 10%, that means we need 10% less electricity, which might be able to come from completely clean resources. One of the ways that we can do this to increase efficiency is to micro-optimize household appliances. There's two reasons to this. First of all, these appliances are usually designed with cost in mind and not how efficiently they use energy. And also, they are in such vast quantities and they are so commonplace that a tiny change in their efficiency can mean gigantic impacts for the entire world. So now we get into my favorite part and the most exciting part of the speech, which is cooling air conditioners. So this is probably a very weird thing to like, but these devices use more than 10% of the entire world's electric consumption. That is half of all electricity used in the residential sector, or 6 times the electricity used for transportation. An insane amount of electricity that is used on space cooling. There is, of course, very good reasons for these air conditioners to be using this much energy. For example, saving lives, or for example, improving the quality of life. These are irreplaceable benefits of air conditioners. So how do we make them more efficient? Well, 2 years ago, I was walking on a sidewalk in Shanghai, and a drop of water just happened to drop on my shoulder. Out of curiosity, I just wanted to find where the water come from, so I looked upwards. What I saw was an entire apartment wall packed full of AC outdoor units, with the condensation water outlet just dripping water and swinging about, leaking pure water. So it was at that moment that I started getting interested in air conditioners, and I started going through hours and hours of learning, designing, and iterating. And eventually I found if we could somehow use this condensation water readily available and use that to improve the heat transfer efficiency of the air conditioner, we can lower its power consumption by 10%. What that means is if it was implemented on every single AC in the world, that would mean a 1% decrease in the global electric consumption. That would reduce carbon dioxide emissions equivalent to 22 million cars taken off the road. But I still had to design it, right? So I went through 20 to 30 prototypes of engineering, and I came up with this. A device that is designed to be installed on any existing AC with very simple procedures. And it is my hope that this device can be installed on all the ACs existing and all the ACs being sold. But that we're looking at nearly 1.6 billion ACs for this device to be installed on. That is an insanely hard thing to do. Which is why I urge the students in the audience today and online watching to think about ways you can micro-optimize things around you as well. No matter if it's for energy or other things. Of course, I'll be more interested in energy. But because these micro-optimizations can mean such a large impact for a world, and I hope that some of you can come up with really good ideas, and if you need any help, I would like to give you help to turn them from idea to reality. But the reason why I'm so interested in also helping people turning ideas into reality is because I have gone through the process of that conversion myself over the past year, and I have found it to be very, very difficult. In an attempt to try to do something for the more efficient use of energy myself, I founded 2 organizations. The first is Gienkee Energy. It is a company that I founded, and through that company I've been able to create a sustainable model where we can implement the device I just showed you into ACs. And so far we have implemented into households, into factories, into hotels. And we hope to go to more further lengths. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want the device to not just be an idea, but to be something that can make tangible impact, because that is what sustainability is about. On the other side, the promotional or publication side of things, I founded Green Earth. It is an organization that provides educational content on sustainability that is widely accessible. And we also, through that platform, been able to donate the power savers to places in need and to important communities, such as this campus, ISEF, as well as prospective AC installers, because they can reach further audiences and achieve that tangible impact that I'm so passionate about. So what I've talked about so far are all the determined things. So what is left to be determined in the field of energy usage? Enter the AI age. AI brought its own completely new set of energy challenges. For example, 3.5 Turbo, the large language model that enabled OpenAI to become famous, essentially. That model consumed enough energy to power 1,000 average Chinese families for an entire year just to train. And as generative AI models such as Gemini, Apple Intelligence, and ChatGPT start to develop, research has shown that it is very possible that if all Google searches were replaced with AI-based searches, the electrical consumption of each search, each web search, would be increased by more than 10-folds. Even now, AI is already consuming more than 1.6% of the entire world's electric production. Those are all insane numbers and electricity to put into AI, right? But AI is also kind of nuanced. It's not all bad. It's not just wasting our energy, because AI can actually revolutionize the way that we produce electricity, the way we manage it, and the way we consume it. With smart algorithms, we can actually make it more efficient to integrate green energy, distant energy sources, such as solar panels, wind power, as well as electric vehicle batteries, into the electrical grid. These are all benefits of AI. And moreover, things like machine learning, they can find new materials for energy storage, find new technologies for more efficient green energy production. These are things that won't be possible without the expenditure of the 1.6% of electrical production. The story of human energy use is a tale of ingenuity, progress, and unfortunately unintended consequences. From the discovery of fire to the rise of AI, our relationship with energy has helped shape the road of civilization. As we navigate the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century, I believe the future of energy will be defined by our ability to innovate, adapt, and make responsible choices. So with the rise of generative AI, what will the future of energy use look like? How can we break the paradoxical relationship between living standards and emissions? These are all important questions in the field of energy, and I hope what I have said today could inspire some of you. Thank you.